Hello everyone, it's a left-handed lady coming at you today with our November plan with me. We're going to do a bunch of fall-themed doodles this month. We're going to start out with a bright orange pumpkin. I really missed the opportunity on doing a classic pumpkin last month, so I had to throw that one in for our fall doodles on this month. Always remember that with organic shapes like pumpkins and plants, you can never really make a mistake. So just sketch it out and go for whatever you feel like is the perfect shape. Then we're going to go for a good old classic cup of coffee or hot cocoa, whichever your happy little selves want. I usually reach for a hot cocoa, but honestly with school I have been drinking a lot more coffee lately. Now it has been a very rainy couple weeks here in Texas, and so of course I am adding in a cute little umbrella. Then we're going to move down to our apple pie, or I guess whatever type of pie you want to make this into. I prefer apple pie. Looking back on this, I kind of wish I had used a lighter brown, but honestly that was the lightest brown in my stash of markers, which is surprising because I have quite a few markers. But maybe I will be investing in some lighter brown, because that crust looks a tiny bit burnt. I'd still eat it though. Now we're going to move on to some cute little rain boots, and I decided to make these this darker olive green. I'm going to be using those in some of the fall leaves, so I decided to incorporate it in these cute little boots. I honestly redrew these boots probably about 7 times until I was finally happy with the shape, and they're still not quite perfect, but honestly I love them. They're so cute, and I kind of wish I had some boots that were these colors because they're really cute. Now we're going to go in and do some striped little mittens. I was going to do these a solid color, and then I realized that my scarf was going to be a solid color. Sorry, pardon my lisp. And so I decided to add some pattern to these little gloves. I think they turned out really cute. Now I'm going in with that olive green color, and I'm going to go ahead and put in all of my falling leaves. Now I'm going to be using, I think, 4 different colors, 3 browns and this olive green for my falling leaves. So I'm going through and filling in all of the green leaves first, because that's going to be the highest contrast, and I don't want too many of them on the page. Then we're going to go in with our dark brown and add in leaves sporadically throughout there next to the green ones, keeping it very sporadic, but also kind of strategically planning them to where not too many of the colors are going to be right next to each other. Now using that lighter brown and adding in more leaves. And now we're going to be using a reddish brown for those final leaves, just to bring in a little bit of that maroon color that we have in our mittens and our umbrella. It's really important when you're doing leaves is that you make them in different angles, shapes, and sizes. I went with all about the same teardrops style leaf, but I made sure that they were falling at different rates, different angles, and different shapes and sizes the whole time. Now I'm going through with my various markers that have fine liners on the other side, and I'm going to do my little sketchy outline that I normally do on most of my doodles. This is completely optional. As you can see, it looks pretty good right now without that, but I absolutely love the way that it makes my doodles look a little bit more finished off and complete. So that's just my personal preference. I am using this darkest marker fine liner tip for a majority of it, and then going around with the various other browns on most of the other doodles. And I'm going in with those fine liners and adding my little steam lines. I was going to do those in black, but I just really didn't want to add any black to the spread. I really like the idea of having all warm tone colors in this scheme and not really interrupting it with the stark lines of black ink. Now I'm going in with my lightest color in the palette just to really bring your eye to that November scarf banner, and I'm going to do this. It's really like a golden yellow, and I absolutely love this color. I will have it listed in the description box below. And then I decided to make the underneath of the scarf a different color so you can really see how it's folded in the wind. I just love the way that turned out, and the contrast is so pretty. And I actually decided not to outline the scarf. I didn't do any sketchy outlining on that. I thought it was very well popped off the page, and I didn't really want to ruin that with too harsh of an edge. Then I'm going in with a little bit of a thicker brown fine liner and writing in November 2020. Then I'm going back in with those same exact leaf colors and just using the fine liner tip on those markers to give a little bit of detail, add the stems in. When I was first sketching this out, I thought it might be just a little bit too busy. I normally go with something very central to the page, very to the point and simple design, but I just absolutely love the way this turned out. Once I started sketching it and I really got everything on the page, I fell in love. So I'm going to tell you, if you're afraid to try something, there is no harm in taking a pencil out and sketching for an hour and a half. Even if you erase it, it's worth a shot. If you have something in your head, you might as well try it. Now that's our front cover page, and I'll erase all of my little marquee lines, and we're going to move on to our tracker and monthly log. I'm pulling in those same doodles to the top part of my events and my tracker page. Again with my cute little apple pie. That was actually my mother's idea, to add in pie to this month's, and I am so thankful I did. It turned out so cute. I'm just trying to switch up the colors that I'm using on the different doodles just so that they don't look identical to the ones that are on the front page, but I do want that same style. So you can see here I'm doing a green coffee mug instead of a yellow, and I added yellow instead of red to the umbrella. And I'm making my gloves spotted instead of striped. Little changes can make your designs look a little bit more thought out, but if you tend to, like, I don't change any of my color palette, so I'm sticking with the same colors throughout my whole month, and that makes it very coherent. So it's not making it all over the place, but it does make it look very playful, and that's what I love to do with my spreads. Now, as you can tell, that light brown marker is dying on me. I think I'm going to have to invest in a new Tombow marker, which kind of hurts my wallet, but also, who doesn't love shopping? Especially craft supplies shopping. So that's going to be on my list for this month. Now just going in and adding in my leaves, just like I did, one color at a time, so we don't have too many colors right next to each other. And going in with the fine liner end of those markers and drawing in the stems for each of those leaves. I would really like to know if any of y'all would be willing to do this amount of doodling for each monthly spread. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, this took me quite some time, but honestly, I am so pleased with how cute it is, and I really think it's going to bring me a lot of joy throughout the month. So I do not regret spending the hour and a half it took me to set up and make this spread, because it is so stinking cute. So if y'all don't mind commenting below, telling me whether or not you'd be willing to do something this doodle heavy or not. I'd really be interested in knowing. Then I'm going in with my little thin sketchy lines and outlining all of those little doodles, finishing up my doodle parts. Now I'm going to do my tracker and daily logs on the left side of the page like I normally do, as well as my events/calendar on the right side of the page. Like I've said, this has really been working for me. Eventually I probably will go back to the normal large calendar spread, but lately this setup has been working the best for my lifestyle, and I don't plan on changing it within the next month, but maybe next year I might switch back to what I was doing at the beginning of this year. Going in with a light brown marker and just highlighting every other day. Really like the sketchy look of the non-straight lines. At first I was so worried about trying to get it exactly straight, and I hated the look even more because I was trying so hard. And I find whenever you just pull it towards you and you get this kind of like a wavy organic line, it looks the best. So this setup is just like last month's. It's just 30 lines for 30 days, and I've got the entire width of each page for each one. On the left side I've got my trackers, so this month I'm only tracking my work, my pills, my fish, and then I've got a whole section for my gratitude list. I have switched up the way I'm doing my weekly spread, so I have a lot more room to write down my feelings and my thoughts on certain things. And if y'all would be interested in that, I will show y'all my new weekly setup and how I've been using that instead of using my tracker for my daily mood and events. So this month I'm going to more of a relaxed tracker. Just the 3 things that I really need to stay on top of and like to see all in one space, plus a little bit of a gratitude list for this month. So I'm just going in with that thicker fine liner that I used on the cover page for the November and outlining the entire thing, just so it really stands off the page. Now I'm just racing all of those little doodle lines, and that's it for our monthly tracker and events page. Now, once I flipped back to my cover page, I realized I forgot my quote. So I'm going to pull out this little cardstock paper that I have in my scrap drawer, and I wrote a little quote on it, just in one of the markers that I've used in the spread. It is, "The most beautiful way to start and end the day is with a grateful heart." I am just so grateful to all of you who watch what I do, because I absolutely love making these spreads and sharing them with you. I hope every one of y'all have a wonderful Thanksgiving and month of November, and I want y'all to remember to never stop creating.